So before I start this review, I'm going to give you a short read from the blurb this show has on Crunchyroll. This news may seem sudden, but the world died long ago. Earth died 1,000 years ago and a legendary clockmaker known as Y rebuilt it using clockwork. Now this sounds interesting. Continuing on. Naito Muri, a failing high school student, encounters no, you fucked it up with your fucky fuckface. I am not a gifted improviser. So I'm sure everyone at some point in time has seen a show or movie they knew nothing about, but the title alone was enough to get them interested. That was Clockwork Planet for me. It's just a shame that the interest I did have was short-lived. Very, very short-lived. So the show starts with, honestly, a pretty cool fight scene. Characters are doing tricks, showing off powers, it's a good start. Then cut to 1 month earlier and oh, it's one of these shows. The kind where they show you the climax of a story arc right at the start in order to keep you invested for the rest of the series. How long until this will come back into relevance? Okay, well fuck that. So the show actually starts by introducing us to our main character, who honestly, is so generic of anime, I'm not even going to refer to him by his real name. For the rest of this video, I'm going to be calling him Hero Protagoniste, because that's all he is. So Hero over here really loves clocks and wishes to fix them all, but he's apparently not very good. Well, there's certainly less productive hobbies a teenage boy could have. After crying to the heavens that he wants some talent or at least some parts to work with, then drops out of the sky a broken robot automaton named Ryuzu. She won't activate, but Hero, using his superhuman hearing, detects that the problem is in her heart and repairs it. Ha ha, you're fixing a broken heart. Guess who's gonna be the love interest in this series? And as I said, Hero was able to do this because he has superhuman hearing. But remember, just because I said it, doesn't mean the show does. We know he was able to detect the fault by hearing it, but they don't actually tell us his hearing is of a superhuman level. In fact, Clockwork Planet doesn't actually tell us his hearing is any good until about episode 3, which made things really confusing for me. For example, there's one scene where Ryuzu explains how it's taken humanity over 200 years and they still couldn't fix her, but Hero could. Now, had the show explained he had superhuman hearing, I wouldn't have questioned it. But because I didn't know that, I was led to believe that a teenage boy who can't even fix clocks somehow accomplished something that took scientists over 200 years in just 4 minutes and 28 seconds. And on a side note to those scientists, I know new technology can be expensive, but I think after the first century, I would have given up. And even taking Mr. Protagoniste's hearing into account, there's one scene where Ryuzu asks Hero how many components are in her body, and he answers that she has roughly 4,207,600,008,643. You know, just approximately. But even with superhuman hearing, there is no way this kid counted the 4.2 trillion in his head. And if you think that's the only inconsistency in this show, you are so mistaken. There's this one girl who fakes her own death to avoid the military from searching for her. However, instead of hiding away or putting on a disguise, she talks the same, walks around in broad daylight, and even wears the same clothes. And let's face it, she's an anime protagonist. It's not like she doesn't stand out. The only change she does make is pretending that this dude is her brother. This dude, by the way, is also on the military watch list, so that wouldn't help at all. And the rest of the writing in this show isn't exactly smart either. Plot points will either drop out of thin air, and I mean that literally by the way, or the entire scenario will just be the most cliché garbage you can imagine. In one scene, Hero's home gets destroyed and they have to find somewhere to stay, and oh no, it's a love hotel, and he'd have to share his room with a woman. What crazy antics. In fact, everything in this show is unnecessarily sexual. Like there's one scene where Ryuzu has to register Hero as her master. And what does she do? Fingerprint scanning? Voice recognition? No! She sucks on his finger like it's a jizzy dick! And after becoming his servant, Ryuzu states that she must do everything her master wants, no matter how sick or perverted it is, and oh, Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me, aren't you? It's not that I don't like sexuality in anime, heck, a man has to masturbate to something, but when your show is so barefaced in telling a serious story, it doesn't work. It doesn't even tie into the story at all. 1 minute they'll be talking about how to pull off a risky operation, and then suddenly,
we're going to the beach!
Why the hell would we go to the beach?
It has been 4 episodes, and we have not shown a single panty shot. This must be rectified as soon as possible.
Ma'am, this plan is highly illogical, and as your bodyguard, I forbid this to go forward.
You see? Now isn't this nice?
I fucking hate you.
But what about the action? I may not be the biggest action fan, but surely any scene that stops the characters from talking must be good, right? Well, sadly this show has a weird phobia of a complete action scene. Excluding the one at the start of the series, which is closer to a cock tease than an action sequence, they rarely show you a full-on battle. They might show you the build-up, the start, or the ending of an action sequence, but hardly ever will you see the interesting stuff that happens in the middle. I'll admit that things start picking up at episode 6, but if you've muscled your way through 6 episodes of this crap, you're probably too brain-dead to appreciate it. And that's pretty much all I could say. I could talk about Ryuzu's super form, which realistically only serves to remove her clothes, because of course it does. And I could talk endlessly about the irrelevant sexualization of its characters. Seriously though, Ryuzu is supposed to be a complex machine. Why would you program a robot with a vagina? So is there anything I can give the show credit for? Yes. I can turn it off. What a boring, inconsistent, uninspired piece of shit. It shows like this to remind me why the anime community aren't more open about their enjoyment of the medium. It saddens me that a concept with this much imaginative potential is just wasted, but alas, this is an anime, an art form where most of its work can be condensed down to a single phrase. Oh no! My boobies are exposed!